army or invest into tech and use that tech slash army advantage to hammer it home and finish the game off and kill the game off, i.e. using one of the advantages you already created to create more advantage until the advantage is so crushing that your opponent can never come back. And that's pretty much the theory of playing almost every single game. Like, I mean, otherwise, like, if advantage couldn't be used to create more advantage, then games would really suck. Because stuff would be blind luck and no skill, right? And, yeah, so I think that Kvek went for a fast tier 3, and he let up the pressure and allowed Fear back into the game. In fact, considering that Fear had the more, like, the units that bled less and the more efficient economy as a result, it meant that really just by bleeding his opponent, Fear could come back into the game, which would have been different had Kvek gotten out a fast tier 2 unit or upgrade slash capillary tower spam, in my opinion. Mech for Kvek in this game on Caldera's Refinery, and Fear going with this standard brother captain for this tournament, I believe. I think he's only a brother captain player now. So Mech being very expansive, just gonna cap this PowerPoint. I don't know, I'm not always a fan of capping that PowerPoint when you're on this side of the map. I prefer to cap the other side, but that's because I like my two power nodes to be quite close to each other, so I can defend both of them. Inquisitorial Stormtrooper is going to make contact with this mech, maybe? I don't know. Inquisitorial Stormtrooper should lose that, as mech should be able to go into cover whenever he wants. And also flank enemy cover, yeah. So he's going to teleport away, so these Inquisitorial Stormtroopers are going to... I'm just going to call them Stormtroopers now, by the way. This is a bit of a mouthful. We're just going to get that decap off. Brother Captain getting the cap. Oh, very, very standard stuff. Standard builds. 2 shooters. Fear going for the same one as last time. Just very, very standard stuff. Power nodes going down for both players. Not really much contact, actually. Like, this is pretty much... no first contact really here, but this is pretty much all the points... Yeah, all the points have been capped before any real skirmish slash fight has started, so that's really highly unusual. It's highly unusual. Generally, there'll be some contest over the points, and Big Shoot is already out for Kvek. He wants to take an early fight. On the other hand, Inquisitorial Troopers have their sergeant, and Wad Sluggers going after the Strike Squad, and nice use of aim limit stat to finally prevent the kiting. Strike Squad's making a stand with their superior melee skill. I'm not sure about this. Strikes, I think, are in quite a lot of trouble. They are in cover, like, well, a little bit, and are they gonna drop a model? Are they gonna drop a model? That's the big question. No, I don't think so. So, you know, a pretty good result for Kvek. Like, he hasn't bled at all, which is actually pretty surprising, and well managed fight. Mech getting the battery pack, really nice for creating big tempo, well, not tempo swings, but big swings in the fight. When, especially in melee versus melee scenarios. Nemesis Force Sword up for the brother captain already. And I'm curious about like this build really, because he likes to spend his power early on upgrades and war gear rather than actually. Yeah, so there comes the battery pack, and I don't know, like, is Fear gonna be able to ride out this pressure? Probably. I mean, the shoots is down to 2-5. The Beck Boy probably gonna go down. The brother captain, on the other hand, definitely not gonna go down. Nope, Mech's fine. Mech is fine, and Kvek should stop chasing here because there's no point. And really, I kind of feel like he needed to take the power node and back off. Yeah, it still would have been a bad trade. Would have been a very bad trade, considering that it would have been 125 wreck and all that bleed. And really, I think Fear has won out in the, like, somehow Fear has won out in the early game already. Look at the map control. Yeah, he's behind on VPs quite severely, but these are going to be switching back into his hands, and he's gotten both of Kvek's sides wreck points, which is really, really good. Like, it's a really good result. That's gonna fuel his economy, and he's gonna be able to, like, he's not. I don't think he's gonna get that fourth squad. I think he's gonna be consistent with last game, use the full farm, tech up, get to tier 2 where he feels like his army shines, get the Vindicator Assassin, pretty. Like, I think that makes sense. So I think the main issue is Kvek. Like, how did Kvek go from a position where, like, he wins this engagement over here pretty handily, and he ends up being really quite far behind, like, I think strategically quite far behind. Like, he's got the full farm, but it's only mirrored, and he, like, you know, Fear has all the positional trumps right now. Like, yeah, like, Fear is a squad behind, but in theory, like, he could get out an extra squad if he wanted to support it, because he's got the economy to support that, and his units will be bleeding less hard than the Stormboys. Stormboys, and well, the melee is going to go this way and deal with it, I presume. Brother Captain going for these shooters. These shooters should not have been running at the Brother Captain. That doesn't help. That's war being popped prematurely. I don't know, like, that's a concession. He wants to be able to kite, and he is going to take a lot of damage. Anyway, Stormboy is chasing down these strike squads. Like, don't know if he's going to get a model. He might do, should do, hopefully, I don't know. But really, Stormboy is being really inferior chasers, and they do a lot of damage to static targets, especially targets that are still set up and can't retreat. Or if they do retreat and they're de-setting up, then that's perfect, because they just get wiped. But otherwise, Stormboy is extremely bad at chasing without their, without lots of without Warpath actually makes them decent, because Warpath is an insane ability. That's the channeled buff, AOE buff that the Weird Boy can provide with an upgrade. So second shooter is still not upgraded here. That's a bit surprising. Like, I guess he's favoring going for this melee blob, and like there isn't any shooting knobs or anything, and like Kvek being slow to tier 2, which is I think it's fine considering you have the extra squad, but because he has the extra squad, he needs to be getting game more done. And I don't know, like he's in a bad position right now. Like, it might not seem that bad, but right now Kvek needs to get something done, having spent more than his opponent in tier 1, and like he's not like, okay, the VPs have actually almost equalized, which is fine. Like, it's not, the situation isn't critical for either side, because it's about 350 for both sides. So it's all fine. The issue comes from the fact that Kvek, he's going for something different. He's going for purifiers. I don't know about going purifiers here. Like, I think it's risky. That jump. In general, I like to use A1 stat before using the Stormboys, especially, like, oh dear. Yeah, I mean, charging into Weird the Hammer is, I mean, this isn't gonna work. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. I mean, he did a lot of damage, but the thing is, there's nothing to pin them in place. Like, he needs to have some kind of suppression. Yes, he's created space, he's gotten the cap off, but really, these Stone Boys, like, they're a really crucial unit in his composition right now. Sluggers gaining the Knob Leader, so at least he'll have some kind of melee presence other than the Stone Boys, because let's be honest, these Sluggers just melt. Shooters in a lot of trouble. Cruiser Stormtroopers possibly in a lot of trouble. Is there a med pack yet? Okay, so he's used custom force field, which is nice, but I think Purifiers still win out in this, especially considering that custom force field knocks back your own units as well as his. Like the Slugger Knob's gonna survive, but that's all six boys going down, so not the best use of next force field, I would say. It's nice to be disruptive, but you have to bear in mind that it does friendly knockback. And okay, so here is a nice equalizer. This is a really nice equalizer, Weird Boy. And this is why I kind of feel like Purifiers is a bit of a dodgy choice, because Warp Vomit completely wrecks them with. I mean, this is going to be a double knob upgrade for his melee, and combined with Warp Vomit, like Purifier's gonna get wrecked if they overcommit and overextend, and it's gonna be scouting out this weird boy out now, or I don't know. Anyway, yeah, promptly retreats, sees the weird boy, and so there's not going to be any surprise value with that. But I do feel like the Purifier choice is a bit dodgy. Like I would prefer the Dreadnought or the Vindicator Assassin over it. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't have preferred the Vindicator Assassin. Not with that there Stormboys. I don't even know what that ability's called. But some AoE damage going in on the mech, and he wants to finish the cap. And Canticle Absolution going down on the Stormboys, preventing them from using any spells. But let's be honest. Oh, the misplaced Warp Vomit. That might cost them. That's going to cost them the engagement. And here comes heal. I mean, basically, the nightmare situation for the Purifiers is if he gets Warp Vomited and there is Cold Avoids, like that's pretty much the nightmare situation. That's something that he needs to strive to avoid. Okay, so there's the Nemesis Demon Hammer now, and that's gonna be some wrecked. Oh, okay, yeah, get wrecked. That's a lot of damage, and mech is shouldn't be there. Yeah, picked off. And of course the Ninja Bash is going to be coming pretty soon, so and it was just a miscoordinated fight, like not all of his units were working together, and unfortunately I think this is Kvek GGing out, and this will be Kvek GGing out. Yeah, just a mixture of inaccuracies really. I wouldn't say that Kvek played awful, or just I really think that the main, like the really crucial moment was when Kvek was force field was on Y instead of Z, so I'm bashing Z.